One day, I swapped roles with my husband and spent the weekend exactly like he usually does. In the morning, I asked what was for breakfast and if we had any milk in the house. After eating, I forgot to load the dishwasher, rushed to get dressed, and while pulling on my shoes, explained that I had to leave urgently because I had run out of conditioner. My husband's usual excuse is that he needs a bike part. "I'll be right back," I shouted on my way out. But "right back" turned into quite a while.
You see, I just couldn't find the right size chain.
Was how my husband explained being gone for hours the previous weekend. "You see, they'll still haven't invented a conditioner that's perfect for my hair," was what I planned to say when I came home around lunchtime after sniffing every perfume at the cosmetics store, grabbing a coffee and fresh croissant at a cafe, then remembering I wanted a new lipstick and popping into the shoe store for a pair of comfy sandals. By the time I got home, I was tired and of course grumpy. "Ugh, this heat," I complained, flopping down on the couch. "I'm exhausted," I added loudly, just in case anyone got the idea to ask me to do anything. "Give me an hour to rest and then we'll have the lunch," I said, settling in. Now I have to say, it was the first time I'd ever said "we'll have lunch" with such a joy, because this time it didn't mean I'll serve the lunch I cooked, but rather someone will feed me for once. Took Joe a while to catch on. Only when our son, Max, started wandering into the kitchen every 3 minutes, whining, "I am hungry," and peeking into the fridge, did Joe begin to grasp the situation. The sound of the fridge door opening and closing nearly put me into sleep, and then I tucked another pillow under my head and reached for the TV remote. Finally, Joe realized that a few more fridge visits from Max and the door would fall off, so he gave in and ordered pizza for lunch. The pizza was so filling that I felt an even stronger urge to nap, and I let the family know exactly that. I locked myself in the bedroom, grabbed the first book I saw, and messaged Joe on WhatsApp. "Would you be a sweetheart and bring me a glass of water?" I didn't see Joe's face when he got the message. Maybe he hid his feelings well. But he showed up with the water and casually said,
Max wants to go to IKEA. He's dying to hang out in the playroom.
"Perfect," I said, thrilled. "I'll finally get some peace and quiet to watch that concert and maybe a couple episodes of show everyone is raving about."
But there's a soccer match tonight,
Joe reminded me. He never misses live games. "Thanks for the heads up, but I'm more into shows than soccer," I replied with a yawn. Joe and Max were gone until late. They didn't just play at IKEA, they also had dinner there. When they came home, everything looked exactly as they had left it. Pizza crust covered on the coffee table, juice had turned sour in the cups, dirty cereal bowls sat on the kitchen table with hardened bits of oatmeal. Fruit flies were buzzing over an apple core. Max's pajamas were still crumpled on the floor. Stepping over them, Joe started to worry. Maybe I was sick or had totally lost it.
So, how had it go without us?
He asked cautiously. "Awful," I snapped. "What a waste of time. That show everyone loves? Total trash. I'm so mad. I'm downloading a different one."
Oh, when are you planning to watch that? It's almost bedtime, he said.
"Tomorrow," I replied as if nothing was wrong. "By the way, what are you planning for breakfast?" I got hungry and ate everything I could find. No eggs, no sausages, no milk. Just then, Max walked in, all sleepy-eyed. "Who's going to read me a bedtime story?" "Daddy's coming, sweetheart," I said with a dramatic sigh, curled up in the armchair, grabbed the remote again, and added with a cranky glare at the screen, "Saturday night and nothing fun to do." My husband said that now we live 50-50 with a separate budget.
"We are modern people,"
Bob said. I did not object. Well, who am I to argue with my man? The next day, my husband came from work and, right from the doorstep, shouted, "Let's eat! What's for dinner?" I shrugged and offered to look in the fridge. He was just about to open the door and froze. First surprise, hanging on the fridge was the cleaning schedule for the apartment. Since we're now 50-50, the duties at home also take turns. I will not wash the floor and the toilet. I am not a cleaner for you here. He was outraged. Then hire a cleaner, but at your own expense, I answered. Bob opened the fridge and went even more nuts. I divided the shelves and signed them. I pre-ordered the delivery of products only for myself and filled my shelf. He said, "This is what we will share? Every tomato now?" My husband stared at his almost empty shelf for a couple of minutes and then carefully asked if he could take my salad. I did not allow it. Now you're responsible for your own food. You buy, you cook, and decide what to eat, I said. He got mad, started shouting that I was cooking anyway. Was it really difficult for me to cook for two? A little later, my husband discovered that he had no clean socks. I said they were probably in the basket of dirty laundry. I only wash my things, I said. Bob freaked out again. Was it difficult to throw mine at the same time? No, honey, it's not hard. It's just 50-50, I replied. I thought you'd be against breaking the deal. So he did the laundry himself. True. All this was accompanied by how to choose a regime and in which compartment the air conditioner and how washing powder should be poured. And after washing, he just threw wet clothes on the dryer as if it had been taken out of his, you get it. I also offered to add my beauty treatments to the general expenses. Bob did not agree, saying that he was not going to pay for all sorts of manicures and hair removal. These are your needs, so deal with them yourself, he said. I easily agreed with him. For a few days he stayed angry and then decided that the best way to make amends was intimacy. He came up, tried to hug me, but I gently pulled away and said that I wasn't in the mood. I can always find a girlfriend with an hourly fee, he said. You know, you should, I said, because we're 50-50. We deal with our own needs. My husband was already upset in general, saying, "Then this is your marital duty." I asked, "What is your marital duty?" He didn't find an answer. He got dressed and left, slamming the door, offended. I don't know why, because he wanted it. It's been 2 weeks. I honestly followed the new rules. My plates were washed by me. My clothes were washed by me. Food was bought only for me. My husband, of course, first freaked out, then tried to pin it on me. "Oh, what are you eating? Dumplings? Oh, don't want to share some with me. What did you pay me for?" He rolled his eyes, but ended up silently putting a pot on the stove and cooking for himself. It would seem that here it is. Perfect equality. The husband is satisfied. I'm satisfied very much. But then something happened that no one expected. One day I came home crying. Problems started at work. My company was cut. I got laid off, and now I was left without a salary. Everything was buzzing in my head. Panic! What to do? When my husband came in tonight, I told him everything. He listened, nodded, and went to the kitchen to warm up his dinner. I looked at him, expecting some support, maybe words of comfort, but no. He ate and was silent. Are you gonna say something? I asked, wiping my tears. He shrugged.
Well, it happens. The important thing is that we are adults, so you understand?
And what? I can't pay the rent.
So, these are your problems. Honey, we agreed.
I was shocked. I stared at him. So you want me to bring you money out of thin air? Well, what?
Equality. I'll pay my half, you pay yours.
I was waiting for him to say, "Come on, calm down. For now, I will cover all expenses." Waiting for him to say, "It's nothing. We'll survive together." Waiting for him to at least ask how to help me. But he just finished his dinner, got up, and took a shower. At that moment, I realized it was an equality. It's a deal, and if you can't live up to your obligations, they just throw you out. I couldn't sleep. laying in the dark, staring at the ceiling, his voice spinning in my head. "It's your problem, honey," we agreed. These words tore me from the inside. My problems. The man with whom I lived for several years, whom I fed, washed, cleaned up after, now looked at me as an outsider, as a neighbor who suddenly owed an apartment. Tears and resentments boiled inside, but I knew it was useless to cry. This man will not support, will not help. I lay there thinking, okay, you want a business relationship, you'll get one. The next morning, I got up before him. It was time to leave, but for a reason. First thing, I packed up to the last t-shirt. Everything that was bought with my money disappeared from the apartment. My coffee machine, my kettle, my plates, my pots. "Oh, honey, buy yourself yours. We are for equality." I left him an empty fridge, bare shelves, and a disassembled bed. Sorry, I bought the mattress too. I left him a kitchen without a stove. Do you know who bought it? I did. And finally, I cut the rent bill in half. No, honey, you said I was on my own. Now you are on your own. The last time I looked around, I went to the fridge and took the cleaning schedule off it. Why? Who will obey it now? Leaving an empty cup and a note on the table. Equality in all its glory. I left, closing the door behind me. A couple of days later, he wrote to me, "Are you freaking out? It's not funny anymore." I read it and quietly turned off my phone. You know the most interesting thing about this story? A month later, he asked me to come back. 6 months later, I found out he was looking for a new girlfriend, the one who can cook and doesn't make problems. Well, good luck finding it, dear. This is the end of the story. Are you agree with the author of this story? Share with us. Do you live with a separate budget or you have a single family budget? Are you happy with it? Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.